Lydia, I'm going to be home late again tonight. I think I'll make it home around 9 p.m. or so. Can you make sure to have a hot dinner ready for me by then?
It's pretty rare that you ever have to stay late for work, right?
One of my coworkers caught a cold, so I have to pick up the slack. And I had the day off tomorrow, but I'm sure that I'll now have to come in and take care of this work again.
I see. Well, I've heard that recently a pretty bad cold has been going around. I'm sure your coworker isn't having such a good time. I hope he can get over it in the next few days.
Well, if he doesn't, that'll only mean I have to do more of his work. I'm sort of wondering why he even gets the day off for a cold anyway. It's not like it's that bad of a sickness, so he should be just fine sitting in an office chair and getting his work done.
Well, you have to understand that it might be worse for him. Depending on who you are, you might get colds far worse than others, where you get fevers and have bad headaches. I'm sure if that's the symptoms he has, he might not even be able to focus on any sort of work.
Oh, come on. Colds are not that bad. Well, I'm going to remember this and let him know it's his fault that I have to work more.
Huh? You're going to hold this against him? Can you please stop doing that? That poor coworker of yours is probably already pretty upset that he couldn't work today.
Huh? Well, this is all his fault, isn't it? He forced me to have to stay 4 hours later today to work, and might even make me come in tomorrow as well.
This isn't the kind of situation where you can blame anyone. I'm sure he never caught that cold on purpose.
Well, it is his responsibility to make sure that he stays healthy during the winter. And we all know that colds are nothing compared to things like the flu.
It doesn't matter that he has to stay home for a cold. For some people, colds are just runny noses, but for others, they can be really high fevers and terrible coughs.
No, he's just a weak loser for staying home. And at work, he never speaks with confidence, and doesn't even have the drive to finish all his work a lot of the time. Honestly, I don't even know how he became an adult in the first place. I bet he isn't even aware of all the trouble he causes other people here.
I feel that you've had to take days off work for illnesses as well before, right? I don't think you should say things like that when you yourself have made other coworkers do your work for you.
I've made sure to take great care of my health for a long time now. Unlike me, though, that loser never seems to care what he eats or if he washes his hands.
Even some of the most healthy people come down with terrible illnesses every once in a while.
Well, if I were ever to come down with something bad, it would be your fault.
Excuse me? My fault?
Well, who else's fault would it be? You're my wife, and it's your job to make sure that your husband's health is kept in check. That's why you always have to make me very well-balanced meals. And you have to make sure to keep me from getting overstressed. You welcome me to a relaxing home.
Well, I'm doing my best to make healthy meals for the both of us. But you can't just expect me to protect you from everything, right? I mean, when you're sleeping at night during the winter, you always kick your blankets off yourself, which can lead to you getting a cold. You also never dry yourself awful enough after a shower and end up feeling cold after, right?
Those sorts of things aren't ever going to make me sick. And I've told you before that if I ever throw the blankets off myself, to cover me back up, right?
Well, that's if I wake up and see you laying out in the open. But I'm not getting up every night to check on you.
Well, you should know that it's your job to make sure that I'm well supported and never run into any health issues while we're together. It's all because of my good health that we've been able to live a happy life together, right?
I understand that, but I just want to say that you need to be more accepting of what happens with other people and stop acting so self-centered.
Huh? Self-centered? What do you mean?
It's not just about you not caring about your coworker's health, but also that you expect it to be my fault if you were to ever get sick. There's also you always asking me to do things for you, like always having food ready for you when you get home.
Well, why wouldn't I expect those things from you? It's your job to care for me and the house.
And I know that. I normally am doing my best to care for you and getting all the chores handled at home. But if you were ever to get sick, you wouldn't just blame me for it and start acting like a jerk, right?
Well, that's why I'm asking you to make sure that I stay healthy, so something like that doesn't have to happen. You can continue to manage that, right?
I am trying my best, Dustin.
And you have to continue with that.
Fine, I get it. But since I don't have all the time in the world to always have dinner ready for you, I'll start making soups and things you can warm up on the stove when you get home.
Well, as long as that keeps me from getting sick, that's fine. Alright, I hope that whatever you make for me tonight is perfect. I'll do my best here to take care of all the mess my useless coworkers left me with.
Dustin, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to make anything for dinner tonight, so can you go ahead and heat up what's left in the fridge?
Huh? Why?
I told you this morning that I'm not feeling too well, right? And as time went on, I started to get a pretty bad fever, and so I've been dealing with that.
And so what if you have a fever? That shouldn't keep you from making dinner for me, right?
But I have a really bad headache because of this fever. Right now, my fever is sitting at 100 degrees.
Seriously? That's not the flu, is it?
Well, I don't think so. I went to the doctor this morning to have him check that, and he said it's not looking like the flu to him.
Then you're fine. All you have is a basic cold.
But even if it's just a basic cold, I'm still not feeling great at all.
Well, maybe you're just too weak then. I spoke with you all about this before, right? Those that get sick from something like the cold are weak losers. If you just had the strength to tell yourself not to lose to some cold, then you'd be well enough to make me a simple meal.
I'm telling you, I can't do anything for you right now. Can you stop acting like whatever you think is what everyone else should think as well?
Huh? Are you starting to complain to me?
I'm not complaining, but rather telling you how I feel.
It's your fault that you caught that cold, right? So stop trying to push your responsibilities off on me.
I'm not doing anything like that.
Really?
I already said that there's food left over in the fridge for you to come home and warm up for dinner tonight.
Well, when did you make that food that's sitting in there?
It's the food we had a few days ago for dinner. It hasn't even been in there that long, so it's still perfectly fine to eat.
I'm not touching anything that's from a few days ago. There's no way I'm going to eat any of that.
But you said before that you're fine with warming up food that's already been prepared for you, right?
Well, that's if it's been prepared in the same day. Not something that's been sitting on a plate in the fridge for the past few days. So, does this mean that I'm going to have to fend for myself now?
All you have to do is heat it up.
Well, what about salad? Who's going to be the one to prepare all the vegetables for me?
Just pick something up from the store on your way home. Then you don't even have to do anything and can eat it right when you get home.
I'm not eating a pre-made salad from some store. I have no idea what they might have put in those salads.
Hey, please, can you just let me sleep for the rest of the day? I'm sure if I can just get some rest today, I'll be feeling much better by tomorrow.
Well, if you're not going to feel better until tomorrow, what am I going to do for the rest of the day?
Stop saying that crap.
You have a few more hours before I'm home. You can make something for me in that time.
Hey, we are a couple, aren't we? During times like this, you should be able to help me out. I'm telling you that this cold is really bad and I just want to sleep in this warm bed for the rest of the day.
Huh? But you've been the one constantly relying on me to care for you, right? When will you come around and help me?
I'm helping you with things all the time. I've helped you by taking important things to you while you're at work. And the last time you caught a cold yourself, I was right beside you making sure you had everything you needed.
Well, that's because me getting sick is always your fault. So you had to make up for getting me sick by taking care of me. And back when I last caught a cold, it was the weekend. So I wasn't causing any harm for anyone.
Why are you able to act this selfishly?
Maybe if you stopped going on and on about how I'm the bad person and complaining all the time, your cold would be able to go away much quicker. You have enough energy to be on your phone right now, right? That must mean you also have the energy to cook me a dang meal.
I can't. I'm able to text you right now because I'm laying in bed. That's why. If I start to get up and move, I begin to feel really lightheaded and get close to passing out.
I told you, it's just a freaking cold. I don't care that you feel a little sick. You have work you have to do, and nothing is going to stop you from doing it.
Are you really going to say something like that to your own wife?
Well, if you're going to just slack off now, then why did I even bother marrying you? If you can't make me a simple meal every day, then what good are you to me?
Alright. I should do just as you've asked of me.
That's right. You should have been doing as I've asked from the start. And to keep myself from getting a cold like you, can you sleep downstairs tonight? I don't want to be in the same room as you, so maybe go into the basement when I get home. And make sure that those sheets that you're laying in right now are changed for me to sleep in tonight. That's something any housewife would do for their husband while they're sick, right? Lydia, I'm going to come home right now.
Huh? Right now? It's only noon. What happened to you? Are you going to take the rest of the day off?
I think I've gotten the flu.
Are you sure? Did you already go to the doctor to check and see?
Yes, I did. I got some medication from them. So can you go ahead and get me an ice pack ready to help cool my head off?
I can't. I have a part-time job I have to go to.
You should be able to take the day off, right?
Well, I'm not the one that came down with the flu now, am I? So what makes you think I need to take the day off?
You know better than to ask that question. You have to come home to take care of me while I'm sick.
You're not some child anymore. You should be able to crawl into bed and go to sleep by yourself, right?
Well, who's going to make lunch for me? I haven't had a chance to eat anything yet.
You have that lunch that you brought to work with you, right?
I'm not going to eat any of that. I just can't stand the smell of it right now. Can you make some chicken noodle soup or something for me?
I just said that I'm heading to work now. I'm sorry, but if you want to eat soup, go ahead and make it yourself.
I shouldn't be having to make myself anything when I'm feeling this bad, though.
Well then, why not stop at the store and get some pre-made soup to take home with you? There's all kinds of soups that you can buy that you can just heat up when you want to eat it.
You know that I don't like to eat pre-made crap they sell in grocery stores?
But when you were in college, you ate all sorts of that crap, right?
Well, back then I wasn't married to someone that could make meals for me. I have a wife now, and she should be the one making my food.
I'm leaving the house right now, so I can't. I'm going to get on my bike now.
Hey, wait. What am I supposed to do then?
I'll be back home after I get out of work later tonight. When I get home, I'll make you something to eat.
But what will I eat before then? And what about my ice pack? Do you expect me to go into the freezer to grab one?
You can grab a cold patch at the pharmacy or something. Are you going to tell me that you can't stand using something that isn't real ice?
Why are you talking to me with that attitude? Are you trying to treat me like I'm stupid or something?
Well, you should be able to take care of yourself, right?
I need you to take the day off work, okay?
What?
I am way more important than some worthless part-time job, right?
Even if I'm home with you, it won't help you get over that flu, right?
But you're my wife, and it's your number one job to care for your husband. Who do you think's the breadwinner for this house? Do you understand me? When I tell you to call in and take the day off, you do that.
You are way too selfish, Dustin.
This is my house, and I'm the one that makes the rules here. If you choose not to listen to what I say and follow the rules, then it's time for a divorce.
Divorce, huh? You think we have to get divorced over me not giving up my time for you?
Of course. You're supposed to be here for me whenever I need your help, and here you are avoiding me. If you understand me, then hurry up and come back home. And on your way back, pick up whatever you need to help take care of me. I'm the one that's sick, so it's already hard enough for me to get into the house.
I see. Alright then, let me call and talk to my manager. But I'm still not sure if I can take the day off yet.
If they don't let you take the day off, then just tell them you quit. You're not even making enough there to make a difference in our earnings. You'll be able to find another place to work after. Hey, Lydia, answer the phone.
What?
I'm still sick and I have no idea where you went. Come back here and take care of me. I told you yesterday that as my wife, you need to step up and do your dang job.
I don't want to take care of you, so we're getting divorced.
What? I have the flu right now, though.
And? What?
Are you saying that I should be able to handle myself when I'm this sick?
That's right, because I'm done being your wife. I don't give a crap if it's the flu or if you have cancer.
You're saying that to your own husband when he can barely stand up? Why do you have to treat me like such trash?
Well, when I had a high fever and could barely move from my cold, you wanted me to take care of the chores, right?
You only had a simple cold. I have the flu. Compared to a cold, this is much, much worse.
You're how many years old and still talk like you haven't graduated from preschool? I'm embarrassed to hear you talking like that. What makes you think you can just rank illnesses like that? And just to let you know, there are cases of the cold where you can have the worst fevers than what the flu causes. I think either one of those illnesses is terrible to deal with.
I can't do this. I'll listen to your bullcrap later. Just get back here and care for me. I'm really not feeling well at all.
Well, when I asked you to help me when I was sick, you never listened to a single thing, right? You told me I was sick because I was weak, right? Actually, you blame me for getting sick in the first place. Yet now that you've gotten sick, you think I needed to listen to you asking for help. Stop acting like such a hypocrite.
Well, I got this flu from someone else. When I get sick, it is never, ever my fault.
Well, that was probably the same case for me then, right? I was making sure to care for myself by washing my hands all the time and eating really healthy. I even made sure to always stay warm so that I didn't develop any runny noses. Yet I still caught a cold.
I don't want to listen to this right now.
Well, you keep replying to me, right? I'm just saying that when I was sick, all you did was make up excuses for why it was all my fault. It sucks, doesn't it? Sucks to be blamed and helpless when you're already sick.
I'm the one that's been making sure you have money to buy food and a roof over your head. So you have no right to talk back to me like this.
I never said anything about you having money to care for us. Would you rather work the part-time job and do the chores while I go out and work full-time? Because it seems like you're complaining about being the breadwinner now. Doesn't matter to me, though. I had to continue doing my job while I was sick.
Well, doing housework is nothing compared to a full-time job.
Well, if it's nothing, then you should be able to care for yourself, right? After all, caring for someone while they're sick isn't a chore. So I shouldn't have to do it, right?
But before this, you always made sure to care for me when I got sick.
And that was because back then I saw you as my husband. But now that I know you don't want to care for me when I'm sick, I've had a change of heart. And now that you've gotten sick again, you want me to still care for you? This isn't some kind of joke.
Alright, I messed up. So, can you please come home now? I just can't take being by myself feeling this bad anymore.
Oh, please. I already said I'm leaving you.
Are you an idiot? Why would you want to leave me over this?
It was you that said something like this before, right? You said that if I don't care for you, you divorce me, right? So I'm just following what you said and leaving you because I don't feel the need or want to care for you.
I was just kidding about that.
You mean you were just threatening me then? Now I get why you're such a crappy person. You thought that threatening me with divorce was a good way to get me to do as you said, huh? You think that because I only work part-time, I have no way of supporting myself if I leave.
No, hold on.
Oh, I think I'm right. You're the kind of man that thinks everyone needs to listen to you and understand that you're always right. And when they don't, you just threaten them and make horrible comments about them. Ever since we got married, I've slowly been watching as you've acted like that towards so many people, and now I realize just how bad you've gotten. All I see now is that continuing to stay together with you is 10 times worse than some flu. I've really had more awful experiences with you during our marriage than fun ones.
I'm sorry.
You're way too late now. I'm never going to forget about the way you treated me and others. And that's what has made me completely give up on being together with you.
I know that I was wrong. I want to treat you better though now. So please, rethink leaving me over something silly like this.
I'm not as kind as I once was, Dustin. You asking for my forgiveness is going to get you nowhere, because I just don't love you anymore. I've had the chance to think long and hard about a relationship, and it's far too late to try and change that.
I promise that I'll change. And the next time you come down with something, I promise to be right there to care for your every need.
You're promising me something that I know is impossible for you to do? And by the way, when I'm sick or something, I don't even want to see your face. I just know that all you do is complain and try and blame me for everything.
Please, Lydia, please just forgive me. I need you to stay in my life. My fever has gotten a lot worse since yesterday, and I really can't handle it anymore.
Well, I have no need for you, so no thanks. Stop asking for me to be with you only when it benefits yourself. Maybe it's because you're a weak loser that you've gotten this sick, right? Perhaps you should do as you told me and become stronger. After that, I went back to my parents' home, and the following day I got in touch with the lawyer who I began talking to about the next steps in the divorce. I continued to hear about how my husband wanted me to come back to him because he couldn't live without me. But when I had my lawyer tell him that I'd never come back, he finally realized it was over and agreed to the divorce. When my ex had to take off work for his flu, a lot of his coworkers had to pick up the slack. And when he was finally well enough to go back in, everyone there gave him the cold shoulder. It's pretty well known that anyone can become really sick, and during those times they will most likely have to take work off. But I think Dustin finally started to learn that because of his selfishness towards other coworkers, they were no longer happy about him doing the one thing he complained about so much. I guess you could say that Dustin really did end up getting what he had coming for him. Now, because he is back to living on his own, he's had to try and figure out how to do the chores again, as well as eating a lot more takeout and junk food. He has even called me before crying and asking for me to teach him how to use the vacuum cleaner and the washer. Of course, none of his problems have anything to do with me, so I quickly ended the call before he could even start asking for me to come back to him. It's just crazy that he thinks I'd still want to help him after all we've been through. It was really tough in my heart to having to think about divorcing Dustin after all the years we spent together. But after remembering how often he mistreated me, I learned that this was the right call and that I'm feeling way more free than I used to. Right now, I've even been able to find a full-time job for myself again, and I'm starting a fresh new chapter in my life. It's a bit difficult to have to learn a whole bunch of new things, but I'm also having way more fun being single than I had being around my ex. And as for any desire to find another man, I have none, and I'm only trying to focus on helping myself become a strong woman. And then maybe someday when I really know my worth, I can find a man that understands my feelings and is able to treat me fairly. I remember just before marrying Dustin that he always seemed a little distant from me until he needed my help. And to avoid ever letting that happen again, I'm going to make sure that the next man shows his love to me every time we're together. Then once I'm sure that I found the right man, I'll make it my goal to make every moment with them better than the life I had married to that weak loser Dustin.